Never thought I would be a teacher. Growing up, all through high school, that was not my goal. I went to college and studied music, and just trying to be smart. I got an education degree when I was there at Millsaps, where I went to school. But I was really going for a piano performance degree, and I changed my mind about halfway through and said, well, I better do this. And mainly it's because of my my choral director at Millsaps and my voice teacher. They were such a great impact and influence on me because they loved me. They took time with me.
The room just kind of lit up when she walked in, and it was happy and it was safe and it was comfortable, and you just like looked forward to seeing her every day.
She's just the kindest, most loving person, which is what I think has made her legacy so great, is that she's not just impacted their lives musically, but with love and respect.
Because she built those relationships outside of the classroom, that, you know, those students remember her for that. And because not everybody has a mom as great as I do. And so I get to share her with people like that. And I think that had the biggest impact on people's lives.
It was amazing. It was probably the highlight of my career. I'm going to cry now.
I thought maybe we'd have 20 or 30 people, and then it just, I mean, we maybe had 50 register, but then like 80 showed up for the rehearsal. And I was like, wow, this is way more than I was expecting.
It was the look on Miss Rawls' face too when we were singing "The Lord Bless You and Keep You," and she like just realized, and it was, you could see her, like she knew every face that was up there, the awe in her face and like the tears. Oh, it was, yeah, it was something that I'm glad I didn't miss. It was just a thank you to her.
I think that's what we should all strive for. You know, is one person enough? It absolutely is. That one person would come back. You've made a difference in a life. However, when that many people come back just to say thank you, you know, I think there are people everywhere that have been a part of who we are and where we've been, and I think that's where this comes from.
I taught 15 years at Pearl Lower as a first grade teacher. I left for 2 years, and then I came back to Northside. Pearl is my home, and when I left those 2 years, I knew immediately that I needed to come back home.
I had a conversation with my husband about the hardest part of my job is replacing good people. It's not a matter of what I do to influence my staff. It's what my staff does to influence me. And so if we're talking about Miss Perkins' stage, it wouldn't just be filled with her students or her parents or her colleagues, it would be filled with me as well, because what she does in a classroom, she cares about students beyond 3600 Hall Street.
With her, it's not just relationships with the students, but it's also the parents, it's also your administration, it's also your colleagues. Like, that's what makes us who we are, and I learned a lot of that from her.
We're all in it for the same reason. We want to grow these kids. Don't give up on them, because you know what you do, whether you realize it or not, right then and there at the moment, it does make a difference.
Perkins has a way of, she's going to be the behind the scenes person. She wants everybody to be successful, but she's not trying to be in charge, if that makes sense. It's like she doesn't mind sharing her experiences with you, and whatever it is that you're either worried about or concerned about, she already has a solution for you.
She's always there for us, you know, to help us out with anything. So of course, like, I want to be that person too. I want to be there for my colleagues, and I want to be there to help them in any way possible.
Your 11 years of successful and dedicated and determined service to our athletes and our programs. Job well done, Coach Jones.
Coach Jones had probably 30 or 40 kids that drove from all over the state to come back to watch him coach his last game. And it's one of those things that speaks volumes to the people that are there, that says, you know, he's important enough that they want to see him coach his last game before he goes out in retirement. So I got to stand around the outside and I got to listen to stories for almost an hour and a half before the game starts about Coach Jones, about the kids, the camaraderie.
It was surreal just because, you know, every one of those guys has a different story. It's crazy what every person different remembers.
I think that last game, it kind of all hit him, and those emotions came out like, wow, like I had this impact. I think he finally realized and he was able to soak it in at the end of the day.
Education was not what I thought I was going to do, just to be honest with you. I had gotten married in my last year of school. Missy was done, and I told her, I said, hey, I'm going to coach for a year, get this out of my system. 1 year led to two led to 28.
I'm not only trying to teach them about academics or about baseball, but it's about life. Because Coach Jones, one thing he always taught us is how to be a man at the end of the day. How to grow into a young man, how to be a good citizen.
It's easy to be average. I think it's a lot harder to be extraordinary, you know. And not that every player's gonna be extraordinary and every coach, you know, I don't have any state championship rings on my hand. But I wanted every single thing here to be the best that it possibly could be. It's easy to walk by a piece of trash and not pick it up. I think that's, like I said, that's easy to be average. Oh, it's not my job. But it's a reflection upon who you are. Every day I wanted those guys to be the best that they could be, not just on that day, but in their career, in their life, or whatever. And I think that goes a long way with, you know, taking care of the field, or, you know, picking up trash, or cutting grass in front of school, whatever it may be.
He showed up and he was himself every day, no matter what he was going through.
Like, we'd come up here before practice, and he would have been up here for 2.5 hours sitting here working on the field, or scraping the warning track, or this, that, and the other.
And I had somebody tell me one time, like, at the end of all of it, you know, is it going to really matter how many games you won, or how many championship rings you won? You know, God's not going to ask you that. He's just going to ask you, you know, what did you do with the lives I sent you, and did you touch them? And I hope that I did that.
He was the kind of guy that if I was having a bad outing on the mound, he would leave me in to figure it out pretty much, and that's life, figuring stuff out. Now I'm playing at my dream school, and if it wasn't for him, then I wouldn't be where I am today, and I'm super appreciative of that.